rebuilding. A catastrophic failure, a new start. Physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40 who focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Welcome to episode 55 of the Silverback Blueprint Podcast, State of the Union. So one of the cool things I like to do, I talk about it every once in a while, is sort of taking a pause and looking at things, where you're at, what's going on, taking an inventory of what you've been working on and what's happening. Sometimes we get caught up on the day-to-day of things that, you know, we don't realize if we're still on course, if we need to correct a few things, how well we're improving. Sometimes we don't realize that we're doing a fantastic job and we need to stop and, you know, look at that and pat ourselves on the back. And sometimes we have to stop and sit there and go, well, this shit isn't working out, and we need to look at it and fix it, rectify, adjust, and get back on course and stuff. Before I get into that, though, I do want to talk about HostyleGear.com, as you guys hear me talk about all the time. One of my companies where we have our own line of accessories, lifting straps, wrist straps, belts, and cool stuff, but clothing. And I'm pretty proud of it. We're always making changes, and something really cool has happened. We've actually hit a milestone, right? A small milestone. We're a small company, right? But still a milestone nonetheless. And we actually just sold our 200th hoodie of our Canadian powerlifter, the military green one. So that was pretty cool. When we think about it, we only came out with that a couple of months ago. You know, I am not Abercrombie and Finch. Is that the clothing guy that all the cool kids are wearing? Or the Under Armour, all right? That kind of stuff in French. I'm just bugging because Luke's wearing one. So, you know what? I mean, these guys are huge. They're ginormicons and stuff. They've been around 20, 25 years, which is awesome. So for us, though, we're just, you know, we're small potatoes, and we're growing, and we're excited by it. So to hit something like that, you know, 200 people have bought our hoodie. I'm pretty proud of that. I think it's pretty cool. I'll tell you right now, the statistics on clothing companies starting and failing is incredibly high. You know, we've been doing this for years. The last couple of years, we've been pushing it, obviously, as the brand itself is growing, and we're getting more traction, and we're doing cool things. And, you know, the time in is coming around and stuff. It's really cool. So it's just, for me, it's really cool to see that. It's I don't know how to explain it. I get a little emotional sometimes when I sit back and I look at, you know, all the things it took to get us to a certain point, and, you know, all the highs and the lows and stuff, and to have people that really like our clothing and the comments that we get, and seeing people posting pictures and, you know, excited to get our stuff. You know, it's a rush, and I'm really happy, and it motivates me to want to do an even better job overall. But again, it comes down to, the brand represents, you know, being hostile to mediocrity, and being hostile to not being who you really want to be on the inside, right? And I think a lot of people are starting to just, you know, understand that and buy into that, and understand that's who we are, and just, you know, resonate with it. That's the word, resonate. I'm having a hard time today, guys. We're episode 3 or 4 recording today, and the words are eluding me today, so I don't know what's going on. But that was really cool, and I'm really excited about that, and I want to thank you guys for that. It's an honor. It's an honor to be able to have something that people, you know, think enough about that they want to actually buy and wear. And, you know, I am deeply honored and blessed by that. So what I want to talk about today, and there's some cool sites out there that, you know, companies that are looking at building, you know, a company, but building a brand that means something to people. And that's really what we're looking to do with Hostyle, is, you know, that it means something to people wearing it. It means something to the people training at our facility. It means something to you guys listening to our podcast. You know, and to me, it's very valuable, and I hold that in high regard. You know, it's a dream come true to have something that I'm this proud of, and I know that we're affecting people's lives in a positive way. And you know, Henry Ford said it: if you help enough people get what they need and want, you'll never want for anything yourselves. And I feel that we're just on the tip of that, which is pretty exciting. And when I look at some of the other websites that are out there and other companies, you know, I look at what the ones that I find cool and fascinating. And that's really what they're doing, is they're telling their story. They're being themselves. and they're taking it seriously, the helping people get what they need. So I don't care if you're a coffee company, if you're a beer company, if you're a widget company, if you sell cases for phones, that kind of thing. The companies that really care about the product they put out there and care about the clients that purchase their product, those are the ones I like to look at and like to watch what they're doing. And something I see a couple of them do that I think is really sharp is they just every once in a while just sort of have a conversation with everyone, their clients and customers, and say, hey, here's where we're at with stuff. The State of the Union. I watch a lot of the videos for Blackstone Labs, or a supplement company out of the States. PJ Braun, those guys, they've had in the last year a lot of big changes and stuff, and they're dealing with some stuff. But I think all in all, I think they're a company that really does some cool stuff. And, I liked how they sit there and say, hey guys, here's what we're up to. Here's what's going on. And I think it's really powerful and stuff. And so that's kind of what I want to do today. I know we did one a little while ago, like a day in the life, and what it's like for me from getting up and what I go through and that kind of stuff. And a lot of people, there was some good feedback on it. People thought it was pretty cool. I even got some suggestions and stuff, and some of them were good, which was cool. Some of them were fucking whack jobs, and that's the way the world is, man. You got to live with the crazies, right? So talking about the brand, Hostyle itself, the gear, Hostyle, the gym, the hangar, our open gym and stuff. Things are going quite well. We're getting busier. One of the cool things I like about with the gym part of it is, the guys and girls that are coming to train at the facility are just guys and girls that I would enjoy working out with, right? And I've got some 20-year-olds, some 30-year-olds, some 50, 60, 40-year-olds, different ages, coming from different backgrounds, business owners, civil servants, stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads, just different walks of life. But the one thing they all have in common is that, they love a great workout. And they're really digging the facility that we have and the vibe that we're putting out there, where it's, we don't care who you are. We don't care how strong you are. We don't care how fit you are. If you want to wear track pants, you want to wear tights, we don't care about that stuff, right? What we do like is, seeing other guys and girls just hammer great workouts, the best workouts they can, and seeing, someone, grinding it out in a corner on a burpee, or sitting over there and doing, 10 sets of 10 on squats. It's motivating, and you want to work hard because you see some other people working hard and you're like, I want to work hard and I want to be a part of it. So, that whole circle of influence and hanging out with people that are going to bring your game up. Well, that's really what's happening with the gym. On the hangar side is the open gym. On the conditioning side is where we run the boot camps and the different programs that we run as groups and stuff. It's really, really sharp to see that, who's being attracted to that, who's hanging out, and how, the person, you're working out and you don't realize how much you're affecting the person beside you, motivating them, inspiring them. You look over and you see some guy that's 20 years older than you and he's not quitting, he's grinding it out, and you're like, well, if he's not quitting, I can't quit. And then he'll look over and he'll say, that young guy is hammered, and I want to keep going and stuff, and it's just beautiful. And we talk about, it's effort that we really respect. Right. And that's my whole thing. I was working with some Silverbacks last night in our APM group, and I put them through, they're in week 5 or 6 of their 12-week program. So now we're starting to scale up the conditioning workouts where it's more prowler, it's more cardio, that kind of thing. If we look at, I was telling them we did 2 rounds of exercises and each round had 5 rounds in it. And I said, 3 weeks ago, one of these rounds was an entire workout for you guys. Right. And 3 weeks before that, the warm-up was a workout for some of these guys. So to see in 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks, the progress that these guys made. But again, it was talking through it, and getting them to understand it's about the next rep. It's about getting through it. It's about fighting for form. It's about the grind. But you know what? What I really liked is I was seeing the 4 guys working out together, and at the same time, they're gassed and they're just dealing with it. And at the same time, they're motivating each other. They're cheering on their buddy besides them, and they're high-fiving and stuff like that. And I'm like, that is what Hostyle is all about. That's what I want in the facility. That's what the gym means to me. That's what the clients mean to me, right? It's having that happening. And it's so cool. It's such a positive environment that it's hard not to be excited and motivated. Whether you're working there, working out there, or a part of it, it's really, really sharp. And that's part of the vision that I've always had for Hostyle, is just to bring people together. So for that 1 hour, right, no matter what else is going on in their life, they're coming in, they're hammering out a great workout, and at the end of the day, when they leave, they're in a better place physically. They're in a better place mentally. The worries and cares that they came in with didn't change, but the perspective has changed because they've changed in that 45 minutes, 50 minutes, right? Everything from just the endorphin rush to, the chemical response to what's going on to just getting some of the shit out of their system. Right? It's like having a good cry or a good fuck. You can't help but feel better afterwards. Sometimes in my case, I cry when I fuck. It's pretty sad actually, but we won't go there, right? I'm pretty lucky my wife doesn't listen to this podcast. I'd be so fucking dead. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, we get it out of our system, right? And we're in a room full of people that get that understand that's what you're there for and stuff. So really, really sharp. The gym side, really cool. It's a great facility. It's got great equipment, but even better is the people that are training there are just awesome to be around. Right? The other day I was in there and some guy was I think he's been with us for a week. And next thing I know, he's over there spotting somebody. He doesn't even know him, but he saw a guy going for a set and he went over and offered to spot him and stuff. And I'm like, that's beautiful. That's what I want in that facility. That's the kind of gym that I'm looking to build. That's the kind of gym I want to be a part of, right? And to me, that's exciting. And that tells me that, dealing with the crazy hydro rates and having to deal with, getting a piece of equipment in and a delay here and a different thing there, it's all worth it because when I see that shit happening, I'm like, yes. Because when I was 20 years old, that's the kind of gym I wish I would have had. Right? Now that I'm 49 years old, I'm so happy to have that kind of training facility where I walk in and I know I can ask any of these guys for a spot. I can walk in and if I see someone doing something wrong, they understand that I'm there to correct and help them and motivate them and teach them and coach them. And they appreciate that, right? And vice versa. And at the end of the day, right, I just love being a meathead 2 or 3 times a week in the gym, getting my ass kicked, right? And just having a great workout because that's what got me into all this when I started when I was 20. Going in and getting great workouts and just falling in love with that feeling, with the iron and stuff like that, and just the clanging and the hitting the weights and stuff. To this day, I still love it, right? And sometimes it's nice when I actually slow things down and I'm working out more now than ever, where it reminds me of why I'm doing this and why I got into this and stuff like that. And it empowers me to take it to the next level. And it empowers me to deal with the positive things. It empowers me to deal with the negative things that come along with running a business and building a brand, right? So I'm blessed, man. It's awesome. I'm really happy with that. And, the gym is kicking it and stuff. One of the things that I know that the guys and the girls really like is that, we're only ever going to have 200 members in that gym. So it's never going to be a zoo, right? You're going to be able to get to the equipment you want. You're going to recognize the people that's in there. You're going to feel comfortable going in there so that you're in a better position to put yourself through a great workout. So I'm really happy with that's happening overall. My own training, spent the summer bodybuilding-ish. I say bodybuilding-ish. I was hitting a lot, 4 or 5 days a week, doing the body parts, breaking them up, back and biceps, that kind of thing. Training with Phil, a bodybuilder guy, Monday mornings, and then training with Kevin and Eric Tuesdays and Thursdays in the mornings. And then at night, I'm in there benching Tuesday night and on Saturdays. So probably some of the best training I've had in so long. And I'm feeling it. Like I'm feeling really good. We're November 7th today. I am 5 weeks out from my next meet. So my powerlifting season runs December through March into April. So I spent, October, November getting back into the heavy lifting. So I'm a little beat up, but I'm hitting the weights harder. Where I am now, where I was last year, I'm ahead. I feel really good, but, a little bit of a toll. The old man's a little tired, that kind of thing, a little achy. And just because I'm working hard, not because I'm injured, but you know what? I did tries this morning and, kicked my ass. A couple heavy bench workouts. I competed in a deadlift competition a week and a half ago. So nervous system's a little fried, but it's all good stuff. And I know it's short term, but I'm also in a better position than ever to have my body deal with all this kind of stuff. Now, I'm still dealing with, eating the food and trying to get all that stuff. That is my struggle, being consistent with the food. The weeks that I'm on it, it's really cool. The weeks that I'm not, it's a bit of a train wreck, but you know what? I'm not making excuses. That's my area. That's where I need to keep focusing on and stuff, right? And I know that every small change I can be consistent there has a big effect on things overall, right? So I do want to keep working on getting leaner. I'm still fighting that and not giving up, but at the same token, I know that there's more work for me to be doing on that. But overall, pretty happy where training is going overall. There's nothing like hitting the heavy weights for me. When I'm benching heavy, I'm in a better place. It's interesting too. We were talking about a little bit of mindset for heavy lifting. And for me, what's really important is the better mood that I'm in when I hit the weights, the better I'm going to perform. And even competing. Some guys, like to get riled up. They like to get angry, slap them in the back. Someone slaps me in the back, I'm either going to punch them or ask them why. That kind of thing. So it has the opposite effect for me. If I'm in a bad mood, if I'm dealing with some stress or just, in a funk, it affects my lifting dramatically. So for me, it's really important that as I get to the workouts, I get there early. I'm able to get my head straight. I'm able to deal, when I first walk into the gym, there's always going to be questions. Staff want to talk to me, and that's great. So I need to get there a little bit earlier so I can kind of go through all that. Put my headset on, hopped on the bike for 10, 15 minutes, get a little bit of blood flow going, and just, listen to a couple of motivational things, some music, just to get my head straight so that when it's time to work out, if I'm training at 9, I like to be working out at 9 and, starting the first set, let's go. So that's one thing I'm working on, to be a little more prepared, to give myself a little more of a window to get my head in there, get in there physically, deal with the things I have to deal with as a business owner, but then turn around and, all right, for the next hour, I'm working out with the guys, let's hammer some shit out and stuff. So that's one thing that, I'm going to work a little bit harder on to stay more focused on overall. But it's going well. Listen, and at the end of the day, I love training, so it's pretty cool to see that happen. Couple cool things we're working on right now is we've jumped on with the CPF, Powerlifting Federation, Canadian Powerlifting Federation. Cool guys. Have competed in their lifts a couple times in their meets. We actually ran a couple of meets. December 2016, we ran a barbell assault, which was a bench deadlift competition. This is November when I'm recording this. December 2nd of 2017, we're running a second barbell assault push-pull meet coming up. And what's really cool is by the time this comes out, it'll be official, but I've worked out a really cool thing where Hostyle Gear is going to be the official partner of the Canadian Powerlifting Federation. So that means at the 12 to 15 meets they have going on in Ontario in 2018, we're going to be heavily involved as a brand. We're going to be heavily involved helping with the meets, everything from becoming sanctioned refs, which we're almost done right now, myself included, to printing shirts for them for the meets, to being involved, having a presence at every meet, having our booth there, having a bunch of my lifters, our team there as well. I have some numbers I want to hit this year, so really excited to be doing that, really excited to be coming on board with the CPF in that capacity, and to help them keep building their brand and building the quality of their meets, and just be involved. And, it's for me as a business, it's the perfect scenario when we can be a brand. We can benefit from our association, but at the same time that we can also help the sport of powerlifting and help the Canadian Powerlifting Federation continue to get better and better. So to me, that's the win-win. That's the win-win where the company, the brand, the other lifters, and the other meet promoters, and the federation itself, if we all benefit from the involvement of Hostile Gear, then I feel really good about what we're doing. And it's a positive thing, right? And to me, that's really what I want to keep doing with the brand, is to make it to a point where whenever the Hostile Gear brand's involved, or Hostile itself is involved in something, it brings a lot to the table, to the event, to the endeavor, to whatever we're involved in. And I think at that point, we all do really well. Right? And to me, that's what's so important, right? Is that we make sure that we look out for each other. And if we do that, then I feel really good about what my company's doing and what Hostile stands for overall. So really exciting. Other cool things that are happening too, even with the podcast, the Silverback Blueprint, we're hammering out. I think, like I said, we're at episode 55. We're doing very consistent. I'm really happy working with Luke here at Podcast Wagon. He's standing right in front of me. He's sitting right in front of me. I said he could sit down today. And I'm really enjoying this journey. I think it's really sharp, and I'm getting feedback and people coming up to me or contacting me saying, "Hey, Kurt, I listened to your podcast and I have some questions," or "I listened to your podcast and I want to let you know that I appreciate it." And I'm really, really enjoying this platform, and I want to, just keep doing this. We've had some great interviews up to now. We've got a couple more just about to come out in the next couple of weeks in November. We have a couple more that we're lining up, and I'm really enjoying talking to these guys and just, hearing their story about what they've done, what they've accomplished, what the hardships have been for them, and how they've gotten through that. To me, I think those lessons that we're getting out of that are phenomenal. And again, a bit selfish for me, it just motivates me and inspires me to keep doing my thing and to keep putting things out there and stuff overall. So really, really happy with just being involved in this kind of thing. When I started in 2013, I really enjoyed it, but for whatever reason, things weren't ready. I wasn't able to be consistent. The biggest thing here that we have going on, and again, working with Luke, is the consistency, the production, all those things just getting better and better and better. And again, benefiting each other. It benefits Silverback Podcast. It benefits Podcast Wagon. It benefits Hostile Gear, Hostile Conditioning, right? It's a win for everyone. And I want the listeners to keep feeling that they're getting good content. And the feedback I get from you guys, I take very, very close to heart. And it helps shape and form the direction we take with the podcast as well, and with the brand, right? It's just, I don't know, I'm having a great time, which is really exciting. Now, let's talk about, some of the other stuff. Well, as the brand and the company is growing, there's different challenges for sure, right? As a business, we're always dealing with cash flow. As a business, we're always dealing with expectations. As a business, we're always dealing with clients and suppliers and stuff. And then managing my energy, managing my staff energy. I've got a great team. I love my team, but we have to make changes sometimes. And those aren't easy to do. And again, like we talked about earlier, as we become more successful, often finding ourselves sort of a little naked out there in new territory overall, right? And it's cool too, because we're starting to raise a few eyebrows of other people out there that are doing their thing, and they're like, oh, you know what? All right, Hostile's up at this level, and we're starting to get people reaching out to us about different projects and things that we wouldn't have been able to handle maybe a year ago, or that they felt we weren't ready a year ago. So it's kind of cool to see that happen, right? That kind of stuff, earning our way up, which is pretty sharp overall. I'm 49 years old. A lot of days I feel like 29. Every once in a while I feel like an 18-year-old, and that's usually when my wife's like, calm down, right? It's not your birthday. Get out of here. That kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not too often that I'm feeling 49, and every once in a while I do feel 69. I'm not going to lie to you, but just keep working on the stuff. But it's just feeling fired up and motivated and doing the little things consistently that make a huge difference overall. As far as progress goes, am I halfway to where I want to be? I'm like, fuck no. First off is that as we achieve more, that end game just keeps getting pushed further and further. A friend of mine I know just sold his company. He's been at it for a long time. He sold it for millions and millions of dollars. I'm so happy for him. I mean, this guy is just a solid guy overall. He's about 10 years older than me. And just, this dude started fucking with one product on a bike, and then he sold for millions years later. And you know what? I'm really happy for this guy, because he's such a fucking good guy, and he worked his nuts off for years and stuff like that. Right. And I just love good things happening to good people overall. I've heard some shitty stuff out there about it, people being catty, and I'm like, you know what? Fucking, there's no time for that. Be happy for people when they have successes, right? That kind of stuff. I mean, and if you can't be happy for people that are having successes, dude, there's something fucking wrong with you, and you need to work on some shit. And that's probably your biggest sign that you need to work on some stuff overall. Some people get envious of that. Envious people, don't get caught up in that. And, we all get in points sometimes where we do get a little envious. I think it's a natural thing. But then, I know when it happens to me sometimes when I look at stuff, I usually try to catch myself and say, okay, well, why am I really feeling this way? And it rarely has anything to do with the situation in front of me. It's more of like, how I feel about myself over a situation that maybe I should have done better, could have done better, and I feel like I let myself down, right? So that's usually where, it's pretty deep right there, but that's usually where that comes from overall. But for the most part, I'm in a pretty good spot, working hard to be a cool dad, and a cool dad doesn't mean that I give my kids everything they want. In fact, sometimes I say no, it's just because I haven't said no in a while. I firmly believe in that, but trying to be a little more present when they're doing stuff. My kids are 14 and 16, so I'm trying to make it more to hockey games, because again, at night with the gym, I'm usually there, but I'm really trying to balance those things out. When we had that big trip last May, 16 to Europe, and spend time with my family, I really, really cherish that. So I want to spend more quality time. I don't think I can get to the point where I can spend 4 nights a week with my family. I think they would kill me, but when I am there, I'm really working hard on being there and being present and listening to them and having fun with them and stuff like that. And the same thing with my wife. We've been together for over 20 years. I just want to keep doing better and better by her and stuff like that. And nobody's perfect. I'm sure is not. But at the same token, it's really cool to be in the state that we're in and keep improving. But you know what? Like anything else, there's good days and there's bad days. And I think it's really important that we put the effort into our relationships, that we put into our businesses, into our careers and stuff like that. So that's something that I'm working on doing more of an effort on and trying to be better at and stuff. And because it's important, right? As I'm hitting 49, about to turn 50, what I really don't want to see happen is I don't want to screw shit up anymore, right? So if I look back over the last 20 plus years in business, I've had some tremendous successes, but I've had some catastrophic failures at the same time. And I think anyone who's getting anything done for any length of time, I think they're going to have very similar stories overall. The catastrophic failures for me have come when I haven't focused on what needed to be focused on. They've come when I haven't worked on the weaknesses that I have that I need to improve upon. So whether I get better at it or I make sure it just gets taken care of by someone who is better at it than I am in the business or whatever, those are the things that I need to really focus on that I don't let repeat. Right? A mistake can happen once, can happen twice, but beyond that, it's all on me. It's all on me one way or the other. I take total responsibility for failures. I take total responsibilities for successes. So at the end of the day, my fault or not, I'm ultimately responsible for it. So what I'm trying to really focus on is not to let the important things, slide and let important things fall to the side for the expense of another. So it's okay. I was just talking to Luke earlier about some stuff. And now if it's not an automatic yes, it's an automatic no. And it doesn't matter what the situation is, right? Because if I keep saying yes to too many things, it just derails the other things I've got going on and stuff like that, right? So that's a big part of it. That's the thing I have to listen to myself. And I'm that guy with a million ideas. I'm that guy that gets excited. I'm that guy that wants to do all these things. I was in a restaurant the other day and I saw something going on and I'm like, dude, you know what? If I had this fucking place, I would do this, this, and this. And I mean, the old me, 2 weeks later, I would have that place. Do you know what I mean? Because I was in a restaurant and I could see they were in trouble and that kind of stuff. And then I sat back and said, you know what? Just keep focusing on your shit. Keep making your stuff better overall, right? It's great to have that eye. But then at the same token, don't let that eye just keep pulling you away from other things and stuff like that, right? Keep getting better at what you do. Someone literally 2 weeks ago took me aside, took me out to lunch and basically sat there and said they want to open up a Hostyle location. They're ready to invest. And I looked at them and I just sat there and I said, you know what? It's really, really tempting, really interesting, but it's a no. It's a no for now. I'm not saying forever, just where I'm at right now with the things I've committed to that I want to see keep improving with my own brand, it has to be a no because it's not the right fit at the moment and stuff. 20 years ago, I'd be doing the podcast while I'm painting right now in the new facility, right? So to me, those are the things that are super exciting, and to understand that as the brand is going to that next level, that's what I have to do is I have to navigate those waters more effectively. Right? There's a part of me that, because I grew up without and I grew up, wanting more as a kid and stuff. There's a part of me that just instinctively wants to jump on every opportunity. And the one thing I'm learning on now is that there will always be opportunities, but it's to keep doing a better job of what I currently have taken on so that they get to the point that they're better and better. And then if I sit down and all the things that I'm working on now are moving forward and are in control and doing what they're supposed to do, maybe I can look at another project. But I think in all honesty, if I really stay focused on the brand of Hostyle and what we're doing, there's not going to be any room for other things. And if you look at guys, we'll digress a little bit right now. But if we look at, businesses and brands that have become super successful, right? The one thing they didn't do is they didn't deviate from what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? They didn't sit there and try to be a virgin, a multi-billionaire business overnight where they have 100 different businesses and stuff like that. They took one thing and they ran deep and deep and deep with it and stuff, right? And that's how they finally broke through, is because they got so good at it and they were in it long enough and they got better at it, and opportunities that came along that fit what they were doing, they were able to capitalize on. And that to me is the one lesson that I keep reminding myself every day, is that keep doing what I'm doing until I decide that I no longer want to do any of that anymore. And that's the furthest thing from me right now. I want to pound out more hoodies. I want to pound out more great workouts. I want to see people come in and just, lose 30, 40 pounds over 40. I want to see guys come in and change their lives. I want to have, more listeners to the podcast. So everything that I'm doing falls under the umbrella of what Hostile is. So I'm supercharged and I'm super excited to go forward with it. So, I'm not going to rock that boat. I'm just going to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper with it and see where this really takes us in the end and stuff like that, right? So that's where we're at, guys. I just want to go over that kind of stuff. It's exciting. Sometimes even this is good for me, where I sit down and I kind of just hearing myself talk about these things, puts things in even better perspective for me. And, the one thing that I've always been really crappy about is not appreciating what I've accomplished, whether it's in the strength game, whether it's in the business game and stuff like that. I've always felt that, that's fine, but I wish I had this, or I wish I had more. And what I need to do is sit back and look at, there's not a lot of guys that bench what I bench. There's not a lot of guys that rebuilt the business the way I've rebuilt it. There's not a lot of, that kind of, just there's not a lot of that happening. So for me, I need to sit back every once in a while and truly give myself a pat on the back and sit there and say, fuck, great job, Kurt. You know what I mean? It's okay to do that. Bask in that, enjoy that success. We talked about that a few episodes ago about, take in the successes, appreciate what you've accomplished, breathe it in. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? Right? And then use that to keep moving forward and stuff, right? So again, like anybody else, guys, there's certain things that I have to keep working on for myself to just become better at being me, if that makes any sense overall. Guys, listen, head on over to iTunes, give us a 5-star review. Please give us a 5-star review. I don't want to tell you guys what to do, but I know it's a pain in the ass to do sometimes. Really helps us, really motivates us to keep doing what we're doing overall. Keep the feedback coming, kurthaas@gmail.com. Head on over to Hostile Gear, grab yourself a kick-ass hoodie, t-shirt, tank, belt. You can never have too many powerlifting belts. Luke and I were just talking. Luke has 3 belts. I was questioning why he doesn't have 4, and we're going to be dealing with that. And don't forget to use the discount code Silverback at checkout and save 20%. And guys, that's it for now, and I'll talk to you guys later.